Welcome to Travel Tuesday with Teresa, the ultimate source of wanderlust inspiration. Join the journey led by your host, Teresa Belcher, founder of Honeymoon Islands.
Here we go.
Here we go. South Africa, Botswana, and Zambia. So this is actually another region that I am very, very passionate about. This is such a special part of the world, a special part of Africa. And so this itinerary, I actually think is one of the best and most representative of Southern Africa. It is a long trip, and as you know, we customize everything. So this is simply a sample and can be kind of tweaked to shorten it, add to it, whatever. I mean, this one really explores 3 different parts of Botswana, Victoria Falls, the spectacular Sabi Sand, and also Cape Town. So this one starts in Johannesburg, where you spend a night at the Saxon, one of our favorite hotels in Johannesburg. And then you head down to the Central Kalahari, which is the desert in one of the deserts in Botswana. And it's not a like sand dune desert. It's more, you can see in this picture the kind of dry bush. But in this part of the country, you've got desert adapted species. So you're going to see more like dark-haired lion, the Kalahari lion, cheetah, brown hyena, hopefully rhino if you're lucky. And then the really special thing about the Central Kalahari and any of the area of the Kalahari, the Makgadahari and Naipan and Taupan, is that you get to experience the sand bushmen. So any of the camps that you go to, and Danaka is one of our absolute favorite, but they have a wonderful walk that you can do with the sand bushmen, and they take you out and show you how they hunt and gather and some of their building techniques. But just watching them hunt and forage is just really, really a special experience. And then you head up to the Moremi, which is kind of part of the Okavango Delta. The Moremi is really well known for its high concentration of general game. So you've got lion, leopard, elephant, pretty much any, you name it, you'll see it. And Okudi is a really wonderful camp, very quirky. And then, so in the Moremi Reserve, you do both power boats and game drives. And then we head to the Okavango Delta, which is just adjacent to Moremi Reserve. And this is where you're going to do your water activities, like the Makoro, which are these dugout canoes. And this is a really great activity to do early in the morning. And you'll see tiny little reed frogs that are no bigger than your pinky nail. You'll see Sitatunga, which is a antelope that you'll find often out in the marshes. All kinds of birds. Hopefully not any hippos, but you might see one from far away. But it's a really beautiful, relaxing morning activity. And then out in the Delta, you also have power boats. You can do walking safaris with a guard, and also your game drives, and see all of the big 5. And then the third region of Botswana that this trip explores is the Chobe. And on this itinerary, we use the Zambezi Queen, which is a boat that does a 2 to 3 night journeys along the Zambezi River, stopping to see different villages, both on the Botswana and Namibian side of the Zambezi. And then also the Chobe River itself is home to tons of elephant, hippo, all kinds of water species, and they do little activities out on smaller boats that you get off of in the morning to do a day excursions. But it's a really neat way to see both the Chobe and the Zambezi River, and it's a really spectacular luxury boat. Then you end this part of your trip in Victoria Falls. This particular one is Livingstone, which is the Zambian side. The Zimbabwe side is equally spectacular. There are a number of really wonderful lodges on both sides of the falls, either in the cities of Livingstone or Victoria Falls, or a little bit further along the river. So depending on your stay, if you want to stay one night, it makes sense to stay in the city. If you're going to stay 2 or more nights, one of the all-inclusive lodges along the Zambezi is going to be better. And I personally would always recommend a 2 to 3 night stay, because being on the Zambezi, there's really nothing like it. It's so peaceful, and there's a lot of activities in the area. You can do like canoeing on the Zambezi, visit different villages and schools, and then of course all of the adrenaline activities that are available at the falls, like microlight flights and zip lines and bungee, whitewater rafting, and helicopter flips. So from there, you then head back down to South Africa, and the Sabi Sand is one of the most wonderful game parks in the world, next to Kruger Park. But the Sabi Sand is going to be private reserves with a good variety of lodges and camps to choose from. But the game viewing in the Sabi Sand is really unparalleled, and specifically for big cats. You can be on safari for years and not see a leopard, and then you will almost guarantee see a leopard in the Sabi Sand. So it is a really special place, pretty different from Botswana. So this itinerary does offer a lot of variety, both in the geography and number of activities and variety of activities. And then, of course, the accommodations, because Botswana, you've got more of your tented, whereas in South Africa, you're going to see more of the lodge and chalet type properties. In all of the safari properties, you're going to do twice daily activities, be it game drive, walking, boating, or fishing, just depending on the lodge and what they offer. And then finally, from the Sabi Sand, we head back down to Cape Town, surely one of the most beautiful cities on earth. Cape Town has Table Mountain as its backdrop, absolutely spectacular. So just spending a day in Cape Town, visiting the waterfront, and maybe going over to Robben Island, which is where Nelson Mandela was held, doing a Table Mountain hike, or heading out to the Cape of Good Hope to see kind of the tip of Africa and the Boulders Beach penguin colonies, to see some of the only penguins that you'll see outside of the Antarctic, and they are really cute. And you can even do a stand-up paddleboard and kayaking, and get up pretty close to the penguins. And then also Cape Town is very close to the winelands, which is kind of the Sonoma Napa of South Africa. Franschhoek, Stellenbosch, and Paarl are three towns that we do wine tastings. You can do cheese and charcuterie. Even if you've got kids along, there's a lot of different activities that we can do with kids. Sculpture gardens, antique car museum, horseback riding, mountain biking, just a ton of activities. And also Cape Town and the winelands is just really a wonderful place for the food scene. So always recommend spending at least 2 to 3 days here, either at the beginning or end of your trip. And so that is the close of this one.
And you know what question I'm going to ask?
Hmm?
Do you know what question I'm going to ask?
How much does this cost?
Okay.
And what time of year to go?
Yes. What is the weather like? When's the best time? Because Vic Falls gets dry and then it gets really loaded with lots of water after rainy season. So when are the seasons? When's the best time?
So Southern Africa and South Africa specifically is a little bit tricky because when the weather is great in Cape Town, it's not that great on safari and vice versa. So we always recommend doing spring or fall so like April, May, September, October, which is going to hedge your bets to get the best weather both in Cape Town and in the safari areas. Something to keep in mind for Botswana specifically, it gets very hot starting in October, and a lot of the camps don't have air conditioning because they're tented. So, but that said, the wildlife tends to then congregate around the watering holes, so you're going to have it's a lot easier to see the wildlife. So it's kind of it's great for the game viewing, but can be very hot. So it really depends.
It's a seesaw. And may I remind people that, they have opposite seasons compared to north of the equator. So I went there in May. I went to Cape Town one year in May, and May in America is lovely weather. It's our spring. It's fall in Cape Town. So it can be jacket weather. Not terribly cold, but jacket weather. So again, they have opposite seasons because they're south of the equator.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of the camps actually close in December and January because it can be quite rainy in Botswana. So that is the rainy season. And you were talking
December and January is rainy season in Botswana.
Yeah. I mean, it starts kind of November and runs through February, but I mean, that's not to say that it's not possible to do a safari because a lot of the rain is afternoon showers. So you can still do
all day, right?
Yeah. Okay. And then it does get greener, so it is nice to see. And then as far as the falls, water from March to June, the water is quite high at the falls. So it does obscure how much you can see because it kicks up a lot of spray. But the rest of the year it's lower, and so you can then see all the contours and all the different little features. But again, it's spectacular anytime.
Stay tuned for more episodes that will unveil new horizons and immerse you in the beauty of global discovery. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, if you can dream it, we will create it.